So in this video, we're going to be breaking down some more things that Sony users will notice when using the Nikon ZR for the first time. And this is a part four so far of a four-part series. And these are some things that I've for sure noticed after like 5 months of having this camera. And I've used this on a lot of jobs now. So if you're new here, I'm a DP based here in LA. I shoot a lot of commercial, fashion, and social media content. So if you're into that kind of stuff, definitely stick around for the upcoming content as we got some more videos coming up. And let's get straight into the video. A super enticing feature for the Nikon ZR, as we all know, is that you can use your E-mount lenses on this camera. Definitely the issue though is that the Megadap adapter is far from perfect and it has so many issues that make it honestly unusable for professional work in my opinion. So I opted to get the Viltrox adapter in addition to this just to see how it is and how it compares. This one is actually way better, but the autofocus is definitely not as good, but I do think it's good enough to get your job done in terms of like, you know, straight form like interviews, like simple setups and stuff like that. But if there is multiple people in the frame, I feel like it does struggle quite a bit. So definitely keep that in mind. And there is no banding or chroma banding or whatever you want to call it on the corners of the frame, which is actually huge. The only issue that I do see with that adapter, there's two of them, is that my EF to E mount adapter for some reason does not fit on this mount. I have no idea why, but no matter what I do, I cannot get my EF to E mount adapter on there to fit. That's kind of like a little bit weird, but take that as it is. And also the autofocus, sometimes it'll say it's in focus, like how you can see your eye tracking stuff, but it'll be slightly off in some situations, particularly with like older lenses, you know, for older E-mount lenses. But definitely keep that in mind if you're switching to Sony. Do not get the Megadap adapter. From my experience, it hasn't been good, and I have had better experiences with the Viltrox adapter, so definitely keep that in mind. The second thing you're going to notice is that everyone is going to be telling you to shoot in R3D RAW for the best quality. Well, yes, that is true, and the H.265 is very unusable in my opinion. I think that the NRAW saves this camera for me. I think that I've used the NRAW more than the R3D as of right now, just because there is one form of compression. You can shoot in standard mode as opposed to high quality, and you get really nice results. The only issue with this codec, though, is that there is no color transform, I think, for N-Log in DaVinci Resolve. So definitely keep that in mind. You got to download the, the Nikon, to Rec 709 conversion LUT if you want to go more technical like that. But I think that the color on here and the fidelity and just the overall quality of the standard codec is way better. Plus you get focus peaking in that codec. It honestly just really saves the camera in my opinion. And I feel like the waveforms is actually more accurate on it. I'm not sure, to be honest with you, but it does feel like it is more accurate as opposed to using the R3D waveforms with the red line and stuff like that. So definitely keep that all in mind. So the next two things are going to be very specific to people who plan on using this camera on a gimbal, particularly like the RS4, 4 Pro, and the RS5. The Bluetooth connectivity for start-stop recording is definitely very finicky and it doesn't work really well. Every single time you turn on and off your camera or gimbal, you have to actually repair it in the Nikon settings every time, so that's not always feasible in a workflow. And I don't really remember having that issue on my fx3, and I ran Bluetooth start-stop recording all the time. And that actually leads into my next point. If you plan on using the Tilta base power module with a V-mount battery, like how I do right here, you're going to have a lot of issues just in terms of mounting and rigging, because this camera is actually wider than normal, I feel like. So it doesn't actually have enough clearance on the gimbal itself. So you have to use a riser and shift the camera over for it to work out. It does balance fine afterwards, but that does lead into those 2 points clashing, where if you do use the start-stop USB-C on this camera, you actually have no power delivery into here. So you have to like keep swapping your batteries out and stuff like that. Definitely something I noticed on our job this past week, because I did run this on a gimbal the whole time. The fifth thing that I for sure noticed is that the IBIS, particularly with Z-mount lenses, is a little bit weird to me. I don't know if it's just me, or like I was reviewing the footage when using Z-mount lenses on this camera, and I feel like it's a weird synthetic kind of floating feel when just hand holding Z-mount lenses on this camera. I don't know if it's just me, but then take a look at some of these clips that I was just recording of like our dogs, and it feels so weird and floaty and kind of robotic, and it doesn't feel natural in terms of like handheld motions. I didn't notice this when I was using this with like manual lenses. So let me know down below if you have noticed this as well. The IBIS is a little bit weird and unnatural in my opinion. And the last thing that you're going to notice, particularly if you're a DP cam op in Los Angeles, I feel like the fx3 is such a staple in all your productions that if you're pitching a gearless and it doesn't have that camera, it's kind of weird in a little bit, in my opinion, because producers always ask like, why are you using this camera? What's up with this camera? Nikon, why is it on there? The fx3 has such a hold on the production market in terms of the clients that I work with. that I always have to explain this camera and the value it brings, and the image quality is better, all this kind of stuff. I don't want to have to always do that, but that is something you got to keep in mind if you're in a Sony ecosystem workflow and your clients are expecting those files or R3D files. Nikon on the gear list that you're going to be sending definitely sticks out. A lot of people, more than you would think, have asked me about this camera. And as of recently, I actually pitched my kit onto a job as a gimbal op, camera operator kind of thing. And they actually just asked me to rent an FX3, which was fine with me. You know, I did it anyway, it's fine. But that is something to keep in mind with this camera, man. Not a lot of people are going to be accepting as of right now, and particularly if you're just like camera operating and you're helping someone else out by doing that kind of thing. FX3 has a staple in the industry as of right now, like I've said it multiple times. So definitely keep that all in mind, man. Honestly, I love this camera. This camera's image quality is better than the FX3 in my opinion in some ways. And the screen, dude, is so nice to use this on the gimbal. But yeah, man, if there is any additional things that does come up, I will make a part 5. And like I said in previous videos, the main thing that I need is a compressed version of the R3D codec or a better H.265 codec. Those things have to happen almost immediately for me to want to use this camera on more productions, because I have had a lot of stresses of just being like, yo, maybe I should just pick up an A7 V instead of this, just because Sony ecosystem, Sony workflow, people know how to grade S-Log3 because they're so used to having it like in your editing houses and stuff like that. Just, it is what it is. But overall, I've been loving this camera still. But there is anything that goes wrong, I'll definitely let you know down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Later.